Happy Sunday, guys and gals. This is your friend Doc here, and let's talk about why I'm dropping Absolute Batman. Alright, so this is Absolute Batman issue 4, and it's got a cover by Nick Dragotta, but the interior art is by Gabriel Hernandez Walta, and the story is written by Scott Snyder with an assist by Nick Dragotta. So this details the continuing origin of this Batman. And it... First off, I'm going to say, I have heard a lot of people say that the artwork in this issue is not up to par. I will say that this is not the reason that I'm dropping this book, because I think the storytelling by Gabriel Walta is absolutely spot on. The artwork is dynamic. It's got a lot of different perspectives that you're not used to seeing. And then two, the reason that they did different art in this issue, I want to say, is because it goes back to the very beginning of Batman. Because at the very start of issue 1, then you are already into the action. Bruce is already Batman. He's already huge. But here you get to see his coming up and his start. And I'm okay with that, except it doesn't bring anything... It doesn't bring anything worth saying to the party. I was looking at it and reading it and rereading it, and you get Bruce learning the ropes on being Batman, on being a superhero. You get a lot of conversation between Bruce and his father while he's building different science fair projects, grant projects, whatever you want to call them. You get that in this issue as well. But what you don't get is true motivation for him to go bigger. This issue was trying to explain why Batman went bigger, why he's 7 feet tall, why he's just jacked to the heights. It tried to explain that in this issue, or it promised that it was going to explain it. And I just didn't see it. I didn't see anything. I haven't seen anything interesting in this title that changed it so radically that it's not just another Batman story. And again, my apologies to Scott Snyder. I love most of the things that you do, Scott, but this just doesn't resonate. And it's not as good, in my opinion, as the Wonder Woman Absolute. I'm not really digging too much on the Batman, on the Superman Absolute either at this moment. But this one here just leaves me cold. It doesn't tell me why Batman is absolute. And I know that this is one of those books that you can probably pick up, and it's like Die Hard, okay? It's got a story, it's got a plot line, but it's more about action and explosions and being the absolute version of this character. The only problem with that is it just feels like regular Batman with a little bit extra sugar added. There's no deeper meaning here. I know that he still has his mother, but you know what? We haven't seen her, I don't think, since issue 2. So it doesn't move the story along. That's what these characters need. That's why a lot of people are upset with Peter Parker not being with Mary Jane in the story, is because they say that kids don't relate to that because, you know, kids that are reading Spider-Man aren't going to understand a marriage. They're not going to be able to relate to Peter Parker. I can't relate to this guy. I can't relate to this absolute Batman who lost his father but still has his mother, but he decides to go bigger with these projects. I'm all about going 110% and turning it up to 11 like Spinal Tap. But I guess to me, this story would be put together better 4 years into the future with this Batman. Then you could say, This is why I'm coming back and I'm going big, because he confronts something that is so huge and it makes him question. I don't know very many kids that just go to 11 when they're a kid. There are some, and I had drive when I was a kid, and I had the idea that, you know, I wanted to be somebody and I wanted to reach for the stars. But this is not Bruce reaching for the stars. This is instead Bruce, like I said, taking on a Die Hard or a Michael Bay mentality. I've got to make it more explosive. I've got to make it more exciting. But why? Where is the why? And I guess as I've gotten a little bit older, the explosions and the bombastic and the exciting by themselves are just the filler. I need some meat and potatoes with my stories. Now, to talk about the art for just a minute, like I said, this art is very well done. And it brings out these emotions from this story. And it shows you why Bruce is so upset. It shows you much better than the story tells you what trajectory this young man is on as he is getting to where he's going. It's that classic look of Batman. And it brings the story, it elevates the story, but not to a point where it's interesting. It's great to look at this artwork, and it's amazing the things that they've done. Now, I will say that kind of upset me, because we've been there and done that before with one of the Christopher Nolan movies. So it's not bringing anything new and exciting to the fold. And that's what I was expecting when I started reading Absolute Batman, was that it was going to be something different, maybe more cerebral. And Scott Snyder's capable of doing cerebral. But this book just doesn't do it. So let me know in the comments below, guys. Do you feel the same way about this book? Am I wrong about this book in most people's opinions? Or am I just reading it from a different level and looking at it in possibly the wrong way? That's my thoughts on Absolute Batman and why I'm not going to be continuing on. But if you guys have any thoughts, like I said, drop them in the comments below. Let me know, are you reading this title? Are you loving it? Are you hating it? Are you going to drop it like I'm doing? There's just a lot of thought that I've had going on in these 4 months while this title has been going on, and it hasn't gotten any better. Wonder Woman has stayed strong. Superman has had its ups and downs. But this book has just continued on the trajectory that it started out with issue 1, and to me, that's just not good enough to continue on. All right, guys and ladies, thanks for your time this afternoon. Hope you're having a wonderful, restful weekend, and we'll see you next video.